Hi there, I'm Harley Quinn, and welcome to Jay's Toy Collection, UK. Why, thank you, Miss Quinn. Hello, I'm Jay. Welcome to Jay's Toy Collection UK. And first off, shout out to your boys got toys. Go give him a follow on Instagram because today's his birthday. He loves a bit of Mafex, so I thought, right, what a better day to do a deep dive into the Mafex collection than today. So here we are. We're down in the living room. There we are. Quick little pan across there, bit of panage. So let's have a look at what we've got in the Mafex collection these days. So you may have seen some of these in the overall toy room tour, but let's see if we've got any updates to have. So we'll start off in the Hush Cube here. So we've got the McFarlane Toys. Here lies Jason Todd, grave accessory for Hush, and Hush going front and centre then of the, as it's named after him really, the Batman Hush display. So a great little figure, Hush, lots of detail. You'll find that with all these Mafex figures. Just some of the smoothest articulation you can get, and some of the greatest looking figures in the toy collection. And with the strength of the Japanese yen at the moment being quite weak, you can pick up a Mafex for about £65. So you're talking only, what, 2 Marvel Legends now for a Mafex. So it's a bit of a no-brainer to, if you're not into these Mafexes, I think, to try and get in there on some. So there's Harley Quinn, who did a lovely introduction for us today. So she does come very shiny with her mallet and her jumping boots from Hush. One of my first sort of full DC comics I actually read was Hush, and the great story. So the fact that they're going so deep into this is really quite exciting. So I've gone for the blue version of the Hush Batman. There is a black version of this out with a slightly better cape on that one. This is a massive cape on the blue version, but because he spends most of the comic really in blue, it's just some of the covers are in black. I've gone for the more traditional blue version. There is also the stealth jumpsuit version that, of course, Super Turk 5000 is quite keen on. That's the only one I don't have so far from this collection. Down into my attempt at posing scene. Not the greatest poser in the world, but here is Catwoman. Now I did have them in a sort of kissing scene from the spoilers there from the Hush comic before, but I've taken them out and sort of posed them individually. So Batman's got a sort of deep crotch stand underneath him, which is one of the Mafex stands he's got there. There's the Joker in the sort of Jim Lee style of the Joker in a more sort of purple suit there. Purplish blue, I should say. Massive sort of dicky bow on him. Massive dicky on the channel already. And then there is the Superman, who's been sort of entrapped by poison ivy. So he's got sort of the red eyes in there. Now I did pick that one up really cheap because he had a damaged cape. I managed to pop the torso piece off and get the cape sort of glued back in. You can't really tell. So I got him for like £50 or something, I think. So that was a bargain. So there's the overall look at the cube. I do like to go with these A4 size comic cover prints I have down here in the Mezco and Mafex cabinet. So that's just behind. So if you take a sort of pan back there, I have turned the lights off because it does become quite bright there. So that is the first cube, which is focusing on Hush. So we've still got Poison Ivy to come, which I'm very excited about. We haven't had a good Poison Ivy figure in years, and Huntress has been announced. Nightwing also announced for this cube. So this will be filling up quite nicely. So it's mainly going to be Marvel versus DC in this video, and we'll stick with DC. We just come to the side of the Hush Cube, you can see there, with black suit, sort of regeneration suit to Superman from the Death of Superman storyline. That isn't a Mafex next to him, that Doomsday is from DC Universe Classics, I think, one of their last figures in that line. So hopefully Mafex will get around to doing a Doomsday one day. And the sort of broken base there is from, that is also from Doomsday. That's from the DC Icons Doomsday Superman, which I sold years ago, but kept the base. So a very nice, one of my favourite figures of the year when this came out was the black suit Superman. Such a great figure. The paint on these Mafex figures is just, it's just me going to be gushing over Mafex, I think, in this video, really. But the silver is just absolutely incredible. It shines, it's perfectly painted. You've got the great blast effects accessories. So Mezco is going to have a run for their money because they're going to be releasing a black suit Superman, and I'll definitely pick that one up as well. So I do love the black suit. There's the Death of Superman. That's the DVD cover because I couldn't actually find a comic cover for that one. So that's the next cube. Now we'll head maybe to more Marvel as we go on top. And we head to what I think could be one of the newest figures in the collection, which is Iron Man. So The Tony Stark base there, you probably all recognise that. That is Marvel Legends. That's Toy Biz Marvel Legends. That's Series 1, I think that actually came with. But I've gone for the classic colours Iron Man here. He does come with a proto cannon, which of course doesn't match this Iron Man armour at all, so I haven't used it, so that's in the box somewhere. Which did put the price up on this one, but again, with the yen being weak, I did manage to get this for less than £100, which wasn't too bad considering I think it was like 130 at UK retailers. Again, the shine, which hopefully it picks up on the camera, is just incredible on these Mafex figures. The paint, I don't know, just absolutely love them. So, Avengers poster behind, classic old school Avengers cover, because Thor has been announced, so classic Avengers will be on top of the cabinet here. If you're wondering, this is sort of the Toy Biz Marvel Legends comic that I cut up and used Mod Podge glue to make a base there, and all the leftover lights dangling on the top. So that's Tony, and Cap has been announced, isn't he? That's why I got Cap in the... I knew there's a reason I got that comic cover, because it had Thor, Cap and Iron Man all on the same cover. So when Cap comes out, they'll all go well together. Now into the Spidey section. So Venom, probably the most expensive figure I think I picked up in this, because I think it's had a re-release recently. But this idiot didn't know that at the time, so backtrack on the secondary Japanese market to get that one. I think it was about £150, and then got a re-release for about 60 or 70. So shit the bed on that one, but oh well. So Venom, he is quite small, but on the stand you can't tell, and that looks like Todd McFarlane first appearance Venom. So absolutely great figure. Bit small, but I don't care. Looks great. The Amazing Spider-Man cover there for Carnage, and one of my absolute favourites of the favourites is Carnage. I love the pink mouth they've gone. The fully enclosed pink mouth looks just like it's literally taken straight off the comic page. This is why these figures are front and centre in the living room, so I can literally look at them all day long. So Carnage comes with a crazy amount of accessories and hands and things. Behind him again, Toy Biz bases there for Spider-Man and Marvel Select for this base. Now this is the newer version of classic Spidey from Mafex in the light blue suit. I did have previously, you would have seen in the video, the sort of cell shaded or ink shaded version of this with the darker suit, but that's in the sale pile and it's been replaced with this new version, which I got from Hobbylink Japan, so they're not too bad for shipping over here to the UK. Still cheaper than the UK retailers on these Mafex, so I would recommend going the import route on these here in the UK. But another great looking figure, and I might try and recreate that cover between the two of these, but you get a sort of angle you can view it at from down here. So Ben Reilly is at the back. Not my favourite suit of Ben. I prefer the sort of the hoodie version of the Scarlet Spider outfit, but again that has been announced, so there's so much coming from the sort of Mafex Marvel comic lines, so he'll definitely be ordered when he comes out soon. And finally, as I said before in some of my videos, a figure I have more figures of than probably any other figure, Black Suit Symbiote Spider-Man. But this time, as you zoom in there, the blue feet. Can't think of any other version we have where we have the classic the blue shading on the feet. So another great looking figure. And again, you probably can't pick it up on the camera, but there is sort of shading between the colour variants here. And one more for Marvel, because it doesn't really fit in anywhere, is Age of Apocalypse Magneto. So if they do any more Age of Apocalypse figures, I might keep him. Otherwise, I think he might be on the sale pile, because he doesn't really fit in with anything else. And the classic version of Magneto is coming. Now we move over to a figure that isn't quite Mafex, but it is sort of Japanese import, so it's made it up here for the moment. This is literally new in this week. It is Cloud Strife, not from Final Fantasy VII, but from his appearance in Kingdom Hearts. So his sword's all covered in the bandages there. So I've never actually played Kingdom Hearts, but I wanted a figure of Cloud, and this one was available in a sort of current scale, and not for a bad price. That was only £60 from Comic and Cocktails. I think I got the last one. So I know this is this is Bring Arts Kai, I think I should say, actually makes this from Square Enix. And they have announced that Final Fantasy VII, they are doing Cloud in his sort of original PS1 look in the Bring Arts line. So I might be in on those, because I recently downloaded Final Fantasy VII on the PS4. It's the first Final Fantasy game I've ever played, so I thought I'd try and get into it. And yeah, I've quite enjoyed it, so potential more Final Fantasy to come. So now over to a bit of DC on the top. We'll start here with a Vengeance of Bane cover. That's a clue, because I love Bane, and he has been announced from... forgot what I was going to say. He has been announced from Mafex, yeah. Trying to be a one-take wonder again to get this video uploaded, because the laptop and the camera, well, they're all dying. So we're on the phone today. So here is Azrael from Batman Nightfall. Another great figure. Another one that really, really shines up in the collection. McFarlane have tried to do this, but their version is god-awful, and that is in the sale pile. So you can't really beat this version of Azrael Batman. And we are going to get Batman himself, Bruce Wayne, and Catwoman. I think they've announced Catwoman to go in the sort of 90s Nightfall line. So looking forward to those. And on to the first figure I got from the Mafex line for DC. It is the Dark Knight Returns Frank Miller white suit Joker. I saw a figure with a cigarette and the Batarang in his eye, and I thought, yeah, I'm getting this. So I started off with just that. It was mint on card on the wall, but of course that didn't last. He got unboxed, saw how good he was, and then everything else followed suit. So there's one of my favourite figures of the year for 2022, which is the sort of buff hench Superman with battle damage face there. Absolutely love that one. Then we've got Batman himself in his sort of armoured suit look, which again McFarlane's tried to do, but Todd did his dirty on that one. The thing was absolutely huge and didn't look anything like the comic book. There's Carrie Kelly Robin, and his old man Batman in the battle damage look, which literally looks like the cover of the comics. So another great collection here. The light, which does glow in the dark, is from DC Direct. It's from their version of the Dark Knight Returns, and you also got these sort of street base of what happens in the comic, sort of like a crime alley street base and light. So that's with the more fancy figure. Oh, why the camera's on? It's my only Lego figures under there. I've got the Joker, and I've got a Batman. You can see it's 7:30 as I'm filming this. So Dan Hu and Joe's and Juice, they're on in half an hour. So I'll be uploading this after the show, sort of post-show version here of the Mafex. So that's the Mafex on the top. So if I take a pan back, you can see with my living room light right in the middle. Got there's Mezco Conan, Frank Frazetta sort of up there. But there's a few more Mafex in the cabinet. So here we have Arnold Schwarzenegger as Terminator, a film my mother let me watch as a little boy. So well done, Mother. I'm sure that was an appropriate film for like a 6-year-old. But I loved it and still love it to this day. And that's an absolutely amazing figure. You get all the different guns. There can be different versions from Terminator 2. I have pre-ordered the battle damaged version of that, which comes from his hand as he sinks into the fire in Terminator 2. There's a few figures in here that aren't Mafex, but some are. So here's a new one for the collection, a SH Figure Arts Tony Stark, to represent one of my favourite films of the MCU still, the start with Iron Man 1. Got him in the sale. There's the Lizard, because that's Diamond Select, because he's going to be going with the Andrew Garfield version of Spiderman, which Figure Arts have got on pre-order, but unfortunately the mask head seems to have gone out of that one. So I'm trying to put the Figure Arts in with the Mafex. Here's some of the Dark Knight figures. I have got some up for sale, but I've decided to keep the sort of villains, so Catwoman, Bane, Scarecrow, so you can see in there, but two faces in there. That's an old McFarlane Toys Terminator 3 base, and it does actually light up, that I'm sort of using in this sort of Mafex movie cube, which is a newer cube for me. And there's Billy the Butcher from The Boys with the baby. He's probably I think he's definitely the newest Mafex figure I've actually got in the collection. And I've literally this week from Hobby Link Japan just paid for Homelander from Mafex, so he will be joining the collection soon when I get some more stuff in my sort of pile of loot from Hobby Link Japan and then ship it all. There is a couple more to look at, so that's the movie cube. One more to go. So here we are down in the last bit for Mafex. This is the X-Men, Jim Lee comic X-Men that are on display with the Marvel Legends Sentinel, my mate Bob. So there's Cyclops down there. Gambit, another great figure. I even sold the Mezco Gambit to buy the Mafex one. Just such a good looking figure, such great articulation as well with the soft good capes. And there's everybody's favourite Psylocke. Managed to get her off eBay for not too bad. I think she just has had a re-release though, so she's looking good. She's dangling off the Sentinel's finger. You can see I use all those Toy Biz comics there for the base down on that one. So if we pan it up, I'm literally crawling on the floor. So Bear with me as we pan up here. And there is brown suit Wolverine. I didn't go for the tiger stripe because I didn't like the colours on it. It was too, I didn't like the sort of metallic blue, so I've gone for the brown suit there. There's a close-up of our mate Bob the Sentinel. Shout out to Hellfire Hank on the poster. And what the hell's happened to Jean? Well, Jean Grey was dangling across the Sentinel. She seems to have flown to the side, so I'll have to try and fix Jean. But that is the last of the Mafex figures as we pan out. So there's room in there for Storm because she's on pre-order, and so is Magneto. So I'll give you a full sort of shot of that one. There we have it. So we'll just finish off here in the Batman section. As I say, my goodbyes. I'm back on my feet. My bloody knees are after that. So that was a sort of deep dive on the Mafex figures. So plenty more to come from Mafex over the coming year of 2023. So looking forward to all those releases. And hopefully the yen can stay quite weak and we can get these for a nice cheap price. Well, cheap for imports anyway. So I have been Jay. This has been Jay's Toy Collection UK. I will see you on the next video. Please do like, subscribe, and of course comment down below. Let me know some of your favourites in the Marvel and DC, Mezco and Mafex universe. Mezco, there's no bloody Mezco in this. Oh, there's a few in there. There's a few Mezcos in there, but we'll get to those in another video. Right, thank you everybody. I will see you next time.